Hi everyone, this is Prophetess Ann, and I have some information to share with you about Mr. Joe Biden and then Mr. President Trump. I'm a dedicated Trump supporter all the way. I'll share with you some people that are supporters of Mr. Trump that are here, that are movie stars, because I give warning to the movie stars amongst all people. So, Roseanne Barr supports Mr. Trump. John Voight does. Gene Simmons, Clint Eastwood. The supporters of Joe Biden are, unfortunately, Julie Dreyfus supports him, and Alyssa Milano, and Robert De Niro. So hopefully my message will help clear the path for them to receive the truth. Okay. Mr. Trump, our 45th president, he is doing what is biblically correct. He is the first president that has recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. This had to happen biblically for the soon return of Jesus Christ. So he has the vote, and he should have the vote for all Christians because that had to happen. You can check that in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 45. He also moved the embassy to Jerusalem on May 14th, 2018. And that's also very significant that would have to happen for the soon return of Jesus Christ. What else has he done? He's reduced troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, where we didn't need to be in the first place because there was no weapons of mass destruction found. And in turn, President Bush and his family, they had an oil company with Osama bin Laden and his family. And then he stated he wanted to go to war with Afghan and Iraq. And he put thousands of soldiers over there, and there was thousands of casualties on both sides. And then not even in his term, but later during the Obama term, did they sniper Osama bin Laden. Just one sniper took him out. So that there is his President Bush is another one that lied to the American people. And not only that did he lie, but he lied about his faith. Because a believer would have recognized the attack on 9/11 prior to that happening. There was inside information that would happen. But not to get off on this, because let's stage what Mr. Trump has done to regain our country in good standing with U.S. and world affairs and with heaven itself. Okay. He has, contrary to what Biden has done, which Biden accuses him of weakening America's alliances, in fact, President Trump has done the opposite. What he has done is appease, for instance, the North Korean President Kim Jong Un, which hated America, and he stated he was going to bomb America back in 2017 to even now. Mr. Trump persuaded this communist leader to denuclearize the missiles that were capable of hitting the USA. Mr. Trump had a peaceful meeting with him, civil meeting, a few, and he put Kim Jong Un in his place. And he told him that there would be repercussions if he did shoot a missile over here. And up until date, he has listened, although he has been threatening. Just today, I saw a new threat of Kim Jong Un on our country. So we need President Trump. Mr. Trump, also, his great wisdom, he wants to have a nuclear framework agreement with Russia that would locate all nuclear warheads and provide for verification and count for each one, so we would know what our enemies are doing by locating their ammunition at all times. So he's not denying that they're against him, but he is just making with them like a truce, like, I want to have a nuclear framework agreement so I can check out what kind of ammunition and bombs you're making and what you're capable of doing, and I want to put a tracker on them. I'm going to initiate verification of those missiles so that they don't harm innocent civilians. And that's what the nuclear framework agreement is about with Russia. So He wants to withdraw from Afghanistan 13,000 troops, which to come home to their families, which I agree with. Mr. Trump put tariffs on China, hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs on China because they were overtaxing the American citizens for years. And they also want to come into our society, and they want to teach Communist Manifesto in our colleges and even our high schools, which they have accomplished. So really, he is just putting sanctions on them for what they already have done on American soil. Um, Mr. Trump wants to overturn Roe versus Wade, making it not right in the USA to have an abortion, which is right according to God's eternal covenants and commandments. So abortion is illegal, considering God's eternal law and commandment number 6. It's not questionable. So he wants to do away with that and stop all abortion, and I'm in agreement with that. The shedding of innocent blood will curse America, and it already has. Um, Please refer to the Mosaic Covenant, and keep the Ten Commandments. And then also, I want to share with you that Mr. Trump believes in tax cuts. Uh, Unemployment is at its all-time low. He put an executive order for America's children to be safe because the 14th Amendment has been broken so much in the U.S., where DCFS was taking away children just at a call. They would take away a child from a loving family, and it would be very hard for that family to see their children again. So that was actually breaking the 14th Amendment of protecting children. Um, Also, he's strengthening families so that children do not enter foster care unnecessarily. Trump believes in trade, but he just doesn't believe in the type of trade that Obama and Hillary Clinton had with Iran. So he stopped the Iran deal. This Iran deal that Obama and Hillary had come up with was funding $100 billion to the government in Iran. And in turn, the government in Iran, Hezbollah got a hold of the money because that's where they were shipping it to, Iranian officials, and they were in turn blowing up innocent civilians, and over 5 million children are orphans in Syria because they fought against Syria. So we are responsible to ask God to forgive us of these sins that have happened, even though they're in the White House. We must do that. So President Trump also cut tax on the middle class. He made it fair. He cut corporate tax and business tax. Um, he also is for criminal justice reform, where inmates receive and re-enter society as law-abiding citizens. So he wants more chances than they've ever had before. He funded Black and African American colleges. He got them long-term federal funding on February 27, 2017. He took that as a priority in the White House. He did a prison reform. Um, he's also for, freedom and liberty. He's not for the country going into anarchy or communist or socialism. Even though we do have a form of socialism on the land, the government has way too much control. And, anarchy is a state of disorder due to absence or non-recognition of authority. And so that he does not want that. So he also promoted during this whole epidemic with COVID, he promoted the drugs that would help people, that would save people's life. He even had to fight in court against the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, because they didn't want to give out these drugs. They didn't want to give out the information. So he spent his own money funding this, and the drugs are hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine drugs. And second drug Trump promoted was the hydroxychloroquine, which is for lupus and a rheumatoid arthritis drug that works on COVID. Um, he's also ensured the safety of our nation's food supply chain. And so Trump ensured that Americans have a reliable source of products like beef, pork, and poultry. Mr. Trump did this by signing an executive order to ensure America's meat and poultry processors to the American people. A number of America's large meat processors and their workers were in danger because the other party, the left liberal people, they wanted to take away America's food supply. They claimed it was under the Green New Deal and it was for environmental protection. So he said no way, and him and his administration had to give out $16 billion to farmers, ranchers, and food producers who experienced economic losses during the pandemic. And they purchased dairy and meat products to supply to us in need, instead of the left liberal Democrats saying we're just going to remove the poultry and the meat from American supermarkets and from American fast foods and restaurants. So I believe that they had an agenda on that one. I believe that they wanted to starve American people. I'm a very, very extremist in thinking that they want communism. And they want enslavement of the people, because eventually communism real fast can lead into dictatorship, where the people enslaved and go to concentration camps, go to work camps. They can be at your door overnight if that would happen. So we need President Trump. President Trump also catches the thieves. He's the one taking initiative upon when the Mexican cartels, the drug traffickers and child traffickers, had rape trees on the border down here on the Mexican and California border, tying women to trees, taking the children and doing organ harvesting.